You're 26 years old, paying rent to live in your childhood bedroom while your sister lives rent-free in the guest house. Your parents call you the mistake at dinner table conversations. And when you finally try to take one warm bath after years of cold showers, they fill it with boiling water and rotting socks just to watch you scream. This isn't a horror movie. This was my life. And this is the story of how I made them all pay with interest. The Avery family looked perfect from the outside. 2 successful parents, 2 daughters, beautiful house in the suburbs. But inside those walls lived a different truth. I was Elena, the accident child, and my sister Kenzie was the golden princess who could do no wrong. From age 8, I learned that love in our house came with conditions I could never meet. When Kenzie spilled something, somehow it became my fault. When she broke something, I got the punishment. My parents didn't hide their preference. They flaunted it like a badge of honor. She was born to be punished. Kenzie was born to shine, my mother would say, as if explaining the weather. 26 years of this treatment had turned me into a ghost in my own home. I worked at a local antique shop, barely making enough to pay the rent my parents charged me to live in my childhood bedroom. Yes, you heard that right. I paid rent to my own parents while my sister lived for free in their guest house, driving cars they bought her, wearing clothes they gifted her. The bathroom incident was my breaking point. After years of cold showers because hot water costs money, the heater had finally been fixed. Exhausted from work, soaked from rain, I thought maybe, just maybe, I deserved one warm bath. The moment I stepped into that tub, scalding water burned my skin like acid. But the water wasn't the worst part. Floating in that tub were 3 of Kenzie's socks, rotting, moldy, deliberately placed there to humiliate me further. As I screamed and jumped out with my skin blistering, my family sat in the kitchen eating cherries and laughing. "Maybe now you'll smell like someone useful," my mother said, popping another cherry into her mouth. "Those socks cost more than your job pays," Kenzie added with pure malice. That night changed everything. Not because of the burns or the humiliation. I'd survived worse. It changed because I realized something crucial. They weren't going to stop. They would keep pushing until they destroyed whatever was left of me. Unless I destroyed them first. My opportunity came disguised as Kenzie's drunken arrogance. She stumbled home one Thursday night, too intoxicated to whisper and too entitled to care who heard her secrets. As I folded her laundry, because of course I did her chores too, she collapsed on the couch and made a phone call that would seal her fate. "I told you they'd never find out," she slurred into her phone, which was on speaker. "I used her ID. The loser doesn't even know." My face flashed on her screen, my driver's license, my identity, my name. She was using my identity to work at a pharmacy, earning triple my salary while having 0 qualifications. But here's the kicker. She wasn't just stealing my identity for money. She was handling real prescriptions, real medications, real people's lives. And my parents knew. When I confronted my mother that night, she smiled and said, "Then maybe you're finally useful for something." That line rewired my brain completely. I spent the next 3 months becoming someone I'd never been before. Strategic, patient, and absolutely ruthless. I researched pharmacy board regulations, whistleblower laws, and patient safety violations like I was studying for the most important exam of my life. I documented everything. Screenshots of Kenzie's texts, recordings of her admitting to the fraud, photos of her fake certifications. I built a file so comprehensive that even the best lawyer couldn't poke holes in it. But I didn't stop there. I knew that if Kenzie fell, my parents would find a way to shield her and blame me. So I built a second file about them. Photos of my burns, medical documentation of my injuries, recorded conversations of their abuse. I turned myself into a walking, talking evidence locker. Then I played the most dangerous game of my life. I pretended to be the same broken daughter they expected. I smiled when they insulted me, laughed when they humiliated me, even painted Kenzie's nails while she bragged about her fake pharmacy job on the phone. On a Monday morning, I mailed 3 identical packages. One to the State Board of Pharmacy, one to Child Protective Services, and one to a journalist who specialized in medical fraud cases. Then I waited watching my family live their lives while knowing their world was about to explode. The knock came on a Tuesday. 2 men in black coats flashed badges at our door. State Board of Pharmacy. We're here about fraudulent licensing and illegal prescription handling under a falsified identity. Watching Kenzie's face drain of color was better than any revenge fantasy I'd ever imagined. She stammered, she lied, she looked around desperately for support that wasn't coming. Because behind those agents came a second knock, Child Protective Services, armed with my file of evidence about years of systematic abuse. My parents tried their usual tactics. "She's just dramatic," my mother snapped. "It's harassment," my father added. But nobody was listening to them anymore. For the first time in my life, I had allies who believed my truth over their lies. The journalist didn't just write an article. He wrote a series. Front page. Licensed fraud, the truth behind the pretty face who endangered patients. Second page. Daughter of community leaders details decade of abuse. Nobody helped her. I didn't need to destroy them publicly. The system did it for me. Kenzie got banned from healthcare forever, with criminal charges pending. My parents became social pariahs, neighbors whispering, employers backing away, invitations being rescinded. They tried to contact me after they lost everything. Phone calls, letters, even showing up at places they thought I might be. But I had disappeared into a new life in a new city, working at a real pharmacy with my own hard-earned license. The final letter arrived a year later. My mother's handwriting, desperate and broken. "We lost everything. You won. Please call." I didn't call. I shredded that letter piece by piece, just like they had shredded my self-worth for 26 years. You see, the most beautiful part of revenge isn't watching your enemies suffer. It's realizing you never needed their approval to become powerful. They tried to drown me in boiling water and humiliation. But I rose from those ashes cleaner, stronger, and absolutely unforgettable. They created a monster by treating me like trash. I just gave them back exactly what they deserved. The truth about who they really were. And sometimes, the truth burns hotter than any boiling water ever could. The daughter they tried to break became the woman who broke them. And I sleep peacefully every single night knowing they have to live with what they've lost forever.